unique wedding ceremony ideas for your big day.
Hi, welcome back to Bride Society. I'm Laura, this is Rebecca, and today's video is all about adding those unique touches to your wedding ceremony if you want to make it a really personal ceremony to you and do something that maybe your guests have never seen before at a ceremony.
So we're kicking things off thinking about the seating in the ceremony. So typically we're all sat in our rows, sort of organised, and maybe with the first couple of rows we'd sort of reserved for family or wedding party and so on. But it doesn't have to be that way. I appreciate if you're in a church that can be quite difficult because obviously pews are quite fixed, but in other situations where there are individual chairs, you can mess with that. There's no rule that says they have to sit in rows and behind you. Like they can be in a circle, like so you can have your guests all around you. They can be spiraling. There's just different ways to do it, so you're kind of like surrounded by them, and that way the guests can you can still kind of choose sort of a side to sit on if you wanted to keep that. So you know one of the couple really well but not the other half, so maybe you're slightly more invested in sort of seeing their face, their reactions, their emotions during the ceremony, then maybe that gives them the opportunity to kind of sit on the side that you're facing so that they can see. So yeah, it's sort of interesting both for the guests as giving them new choices as well as for you. Even if you still want to have reserved seating, and maybe it's that you want your family, your party behind your new spouse, like so they're behind you, so again you can see their faces and reactions as well as your partner, rather than you both either facing just each other or the celebrant or registrar or whoever you're having. As lovely as I'm sure they are, you're not going to remember them after. They don't mean anything in particular to you, right? So being able to kind of see people being emotional around you, I think is maybe a really unique and special thing for your day.
Moving on to how you arrive into your ceremony. Now you might decide that you don't want to follow the traditional way of walking, if there's a bride involved in the wedding, a father figure giving them away and walking them down the aisle. You can walk in together as a couple. You being a partnership, you're going together, walking into your wedding ceremony as a partnership, as you're then going to go forward with the rest of your marriage. So it's just a way that you're a team, you're walking in together as a team and just sharing that with all your guests.
Yeah. And then having your pet involved in your ceremony. This is based on the reliability of your pet or the behaviour of your pet and how comfortable they would be with being around that many people and all that kind of thing, but you know your pet, we'll leave that with you. So, and we do have a video about pets at weddings.
We do.
Including pets at weddings, so we'll link that in the description box. But yeah, the idea that they could be your ring bearer potentially in some way. So it depends on the pet. But but they don't necessarily even have to be pets that can walk down the aisle. They can be like maybe carried down by an additional human ring bearer, or put in a remote control car. I don't know. That would be unique.
That would be, yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe we've all heard about having like pets as ring bearers, but I've actually personally never experienced it. No. So in my book, that still counts as unique.
Having people you wouldn't expect as part of your wedding party. So this could be your grandmothers, if they're still with us, as your flower girls. It doesn't have to be a small child as your flower girl. Get them involved in the wedding. Get them coming down the aisle, tossing rose petals, so they feel included in that special part of your wedding day. If they want to, that is. It could be a really sweet addition to your wedding party.
Yeah. And I suppose circling back around to the rings, you could do it so that you're hiding the ring box underneath one of your guests' seats. So whoever's setting up the ceremony venue would be given the rings and some heavy duty tape. It could be any seat in your ceremony and they attach it to the underside of that guest seat. And when it gets to that point in the ceremony where they're saying, oh, we're going to do the exchange of rings, and then it'd be really fun if the celebrant or whoever then said, oh, reach underneath your seats, and then that person, whoever finds it, gets to really be involved unexpectedly in your wedding, and they get to actually like get up and come up to the front to do that. And it's kind of sort of saying, oh, you know, anyone in here is important enough to me to be part of this in this way.
Yeah, and in the same way you could do that as surprise witnesses as well. So again, following on from that, everyone there is there, you care about them, and you're happy for any person in that room to have a legal part in a way of your, if you're having a legal ceremony at this point, if it's a registrar-led ceremony, to have play a part in that. So you can again put some two envelopes under 2 chairs, and then when the time comes that you need to sign the register, it's announced, check under your seats, and whoever has the envelopes, they are your witnesses. But it's something to check with your registrar if you are having a registrar-led or a church ceremony, that is something that they will allow. But again, it could be a really fun moment and a meaningful moment for those guests that are suddenly part of your ceremony.
And another idea on the ring front is about, it's got a ring warming, or it's a ring warming ceremony or ring blessing, but the idea is that your wedding rings are passed around your guests. I'm doing this because I'm thinking about aisles ago, but around your guests, depending how you've now seated them, and everybody there like holds them for a moment, and like, so theoretically your hands are warming them, right? That's the ring warming thing. But again, it's just everyone there again is now like been a part of it, like they're involved and sort of like blessed those rings before they're put on your fingers and exchanged.
So a surprise performance. So this could be a surprise to your partner who you're actually getting married to, or it could just be a surprise for your guests. But think Love Actually, musicians standing up from within the guests and all around performing a song. It doesn't necessarily have to be involving musical instruments, but say your partner has a favourite song, you could have arranged it with some guests, or even employed a choir to come along, and then as you're exiting your ceremony, it's a surprise pop-up and that song is being sung.
Stand up
and it could be a really wonderful moment, personal moment to you both, and just fun again if it's the guests that are involved in that. If you're particularly musical guests, then again they're being part of an extra part of this ceremony. So again, it's involving people, it's meaningful, and it's unique.
Now, if any of you remember the show Don't Tell the Bride, or if you don't, maybe go find retro episodes of this, but this will very much help with inspiration for this next point about, you could just go really unique with the whole thing. So by which I mean things like underwater vows. You know, if you're really into like scuba diving or those holidays, like that's been a really special thing between you, incorporate that into your wedding. It won't be legal, but you can do the legal thing at another time, that's fine. Or go big on the theme, like Renaissance or like fantasy thing. You know, if it's stuff that is really the two of you, like if that's, you know, you spend your whole time doing like Minecraft or whatever, you know, the two of you together, then bring it into the wedding. So what if it's not every guest's cup of tea that's there? Like, it's about you guys. It will be unique. People will remember it.
Yes.
They will remember it. You know, and I think as long as they feel like they've had a good time at the end of it, they're all happy. But it would be a very unique way to do it. And I feel like, as I Don't Tell the Bride would provide a lot of inspiration for that type of thing.
So we hope we've given you some good ideas there to make your ceremony a bit more unique. If you've got any other suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. We'd love to hear either what you're planning to do or some ideas that we haven't included. If you've got any kind of brain waves that you think, oh yes, I might not be doing it as part of my wedding, but someone really should, because that would be a great idea. If you liked this video, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.